Our day has just begun, and the magnificent miracle of sight leads the way. Navigating the morning rush hour is something most human machines do on autopilot, oblivious to the staggering task we leave to two gelatinous orbs. Eyes sit squarely on the front of our faces for a reason. Peering forward and set apart just enough to let us gauge distance, they let us spot and track whatever we desire. In microseconds, our eyes sight, follow, focus, and process images fractions of an inch long or moving at hundreds of miles per hour, enabling us to assess and appreciate the world around us more than any other sense. They may be the windows to our souls, but on a less poetic level, eyes are just hungry harvesters of light, trapping and translating it into electrical impulses the brain can understand. Light hits the cornea first. This transparent layer, cleansed and lubricated about 10 times a minute with every blink, admits and directs incoming light rays. From there, they pass through the dark opening of the pupil, then a transparent protein lens. Gatekeepers of light, the muscles of the colorful iris squeeze the pupil closed against too much light. Not enough, the iris relaxes and the pupil opens. And in just a fraction of a second, it can slide back and forth between the two. Focused by cornea and lens, light then flies through the jelly-like bulk of the eye and onto its rear wall. Just about 1/100th of an inch thick, this is the retina, where more than 120 million photoreceptors convert light into electrical impulses before processing and shipping them off to the brain. In a mind-boggling feat that soaks up about 1/3 of our brain power, our brains continually compare new data with information processed a split second before. Combine that with what they already expect to be there, and vision is born. At least that's how it's supposed to work. When it doesn't, the world can look more like this.
If you would put your chin into the cup here, we're going to take a picture of
62-year-old Linda Morford has a genetic disease called retinitis pigmentosa, which has been gradually degrading her eye's photoreceptors for the past 40 years.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
They haven't turned light into sight for the last 10.
It's frustrating to lose your sight because you run into things, you run into people, and it can be depressing.
Just open up real wide. Very good.
Now, thanks to Dr. Mark Humayun of the University of Southern California,
Good.
she may see again.
All along, we've been told it's impossible. It's science fiction. It can't happen.
Good, look up.
Humayun has implanted an ingenious little device at the back of Linda's eye. Just 16 electrodes that should act as a simple retina, turning light into impulses that can be sent to the brain.
That's great. Okay.
We lay it right on the retina, and the current stimulates the underlying nerve cells. So when this information is received by the brain, you see a spot of light.
To perceive those spots, Linda had to first wear a special pair of sunglasses that capture light, convert it into electrical signals, and fire up the implants in her eyes.
Again. Go again. Whoa. Wait. Whoa. Close the eye.
As the doctors activated the electrodes one by one, it started to work.
Okay, go.
It was crude, but Linda could now see light and movement.
As they turned more and more electrodes on, I could see the lights on or the doorway. I could tell the difference between black and white. It was exciting, yes it was. Okay.
16 signals hardly compares to the million or so a working retina transmits.
Somebody chopping down a tree?
But with each passing day, her brain compensates and Linda sees more detail.
In there. What's over here?
It's a house.
We thought that 16 electrodes would never, ever give Linda or any of the patients the level of vision they have been able to attain. The brain fills in the missing gaps.
From simple flashes of light, our brains can somehow conjure meaningful images. So now, after 10 years of blindness, Linda can see the grandchildren she never saw before.
And they like to run in front of me. Where am I, Grandma? Where am I? I'm more connected to them, a little more part of their lives, you know.
Even for those of us lucky enough to see 20/20, the sense of sight does not work alone in the incredible human machine. On either side of our heads are the body's microphones, ears. But ears do much more than hear. They give us balance, telling us where we are in space at any given moment. Riding a bike, landing, perfecting a dive, even taking a baby step, all would be impossible without the intricate gadgetry deep inside our ears. Here, 3 fluid-filled tubes work like carpenter's levels to help keep us balanced. When we turn our heads, the fluids move, stimulating nerve cells and orienting the brain in 3 dimensions: up, down, left, right, forward, backward. It's a powerful little mechanism that we can stimulate artificially. Welcome to the weird world of tomorrow. With a special electrified headset, scientists in Japan have taken hold of our balancing centers. By sending current down to those nerves in our inner ears, they've created remote-controlled human beings.
I've never experienced such a sensation. It was like being drunk on the deck of a boat, rocking in the waves.
The current is low voltage, just enough to throw people off balance and compel them to walk left, right, even trace the shape of a giant pretzel.
My body was out of control. It was swaying to the left and to the right.
We can even remote control ourselves.
We're not trying to control people or manipulate their actions. Rather, we want to help them, help guide them.
Especially people with balance problems or dizziness. The researchers say one day it may even help navigational devices like GPS to physically guide us to our destinations, or make a video game feel more like a roller coaster. Our ears provide another powerful sensation to enrich our day. Every time we, or anything else for that matter, make a move or vibrate, we create ripples in the air. Distinct waves, all traveling at different frequencies, which waft into our ears at some 750 miles per hour and produce sound. Like radar dishes, our ears channel the sound waves deep into our skulls. Our eardrums vibrate in tune to the frequencies, moving 3 tiny bones, each about as long as a grain of rice. Magnified 20 times, we can see the ear, here, inside, and out. The bone's movements get converted to pulses of pressure, which vibrates fluid, which disturbs tiny hairs, which excite nerve cells, which translate all of this to the brain. One sound, perhaps more than any other, is music to our ears, the human voice. It's an astonishingly versatile instrument, but it's vulnerable. As lead singer for Aerosmith, Steven Tyler's work depends on his vocal cords.